Live in Canberra, thank you. Meantime, the US President Barack Obama is set to outline America's military strategy against the Islamic State militants. It comes after 4 airstrikes were launched against insurgents threatening a dam in western Iraq. For more, we're joined by Associate Professor Brendon O'Connor from the US Studies Centre at the University of Sydney. Thank you for your time. What are you expecting to hear from Barack Obama when he does start to outline the way forward for America and Iraq?
Well, as usual with speeches from the President, a little bit's being leaked out every day. He's going to try to explain the nature of this threat, who this group is. ISIS, as some people are calling them, the Islamic State, as you're talking about them this morning. And he's going to talk about how America is not going to commit ground troops. The ground troops are not going to be on the table here. It's not going to be seeking, a full-scale invasion, but rather to weaken this force and really to build a coalition in the Middle East. They have no support amongst any Middle Eastern governments, this group. So I think Obama, in his kind of canny, somewhat, some would say understated way, will say, look, this is a regional problem. It's a problem that needs to be dealt with a coalition, with allies, and the United States is not going to get into a protracted ground war with these forces.
Because, Brendon, no doubt in the front of Barack Obama's mind is that there's very little appetite, isn't there, among the American public for the US to be involved heavily in Iraq again?
Very much so, very much so. And in some ways, if America overcommitted to this conflict, it could make things worse. So I think it's necessary for him to set out the nature of the conflict, set out this group that is a threat regionally, has done some horrifying things, but it's a pretty small grouping, a very violent grouping, but a fairly small grouping. So I think to identify the nature of the threat is pretty useful, because a lot of the commentary in America is, as usual, it's got a lot of hyperbole with it, claiming Obama is soft, vacillating, unable to come up with a strategy. So I think Obama needs to fight this on his own terms.
Yeah, important to outline the nature of the threat, but also the nature of the mission, because we've seen a lot of emphasis on this being a humanitarian mission. And obviously that's a distinction that's very important to the US and also, for that matter, the Australian government.
Indeed, but last week there were reports that there'd already been 100 US airstrikes on this area, so there's going to be a tough military edge to it. They're looking to kill the leaders of this group, any sort of forces they can find from ISIS. So I think there'll be a combination arguing that really they've got to protect the Kurds, they've got to look for political solutions, as they have been in Iraq over the last couple of months, and also try to just render this group not a major factor in either Iraqi politics or, quite interestingly, in the politics of Syria, which is far more complicated.
Brendon O'Connor from the US Studies Centre, we appreciate your insights and analysis with us on Newsday as always. Thank you.
My pleasure.